Jackson had been in Los Angeles preparing for a series of concerts, sort of a comeback series of concerts that were to be performed in London, 50 concerts between July and March of next year, all sold out. Rehearsals had been successful, everyone said. He began the preparations for that series of concerts only after passing a rather arduous physical. But his health has been in question for some time, and today the cardiac arrest and now his death. From his Moonwalk and Thriller album to his court trials and financial troubles, Michael Jackson stayed in the spotlight and was about, as I mentioned, to launch this summer tour. ABC's Brian Rooney on his enduring, indelible career.
At times during his career, Michael Jackson was one of the biggest pop stars in the world, starting with his brothers in the Jackson 5 in the 1960s and continuing with a solo career that began in the 1970s. Michael Jackson became a worldwide star. In his adult life, Michael Jackson was always the subject of tabloid news coverage, from his ever-changing appearance to his fascination with small children. In November 2003, Jackson was accused of molesting a 13-year-old boy. He was tried and acquitted of all charges, including child molestation, after a 3-month trial. He later settled a civil lawsuit in the case for $20 million. Starting with appearances on The Ed Sullivan Show, the Jackson 5 consistently topped the charts in the 1960s and 70s. They even opened for Diana Ross and the Supremes. Jackson became a superstar in his own right, making his famous Moonwalk for the first time on Motown's 25th anniversary special. His album Thriller won 8 Grammy Awards and holds the record for best-selling album of all time. Michael Jackson surprised the world in 1994 when he married Elvis Presley's daughter, Lisa Marie. They divorced after less than 2 years. Just months later, in 1996, Jackson announced that his friend Deborah Rowe was expecting the first of their 2 children. They would eventually marry and divorce. He would increasingly be in the spotlight for his strange behavior, his changing physical looks, rather than his music. But in his prime, Michael Jackson was a dazzling singer and a breakthrough dancer. He was, as his nickname implied, the king of pop. Brian Rooney, ABC News, Hollywood.
And Brian is joining us from out in Hollywood. Brian, you properly at the end put the emphasis on his abilities as an entertainer because he was incomparable. We mentioned that the Thriller album was the largest selling album of all time. His album Dangerous was the #2 selling album of all time.
Charlie, in 1978, this would be in 1978 dollars, Thriller earned $4.1 billion. It's just amazing. He had 13 #1 hits. He sold roughly 750 million record albums. With the state of the music business these days, they just don't make entertainers and record sellers like they did Michael Jackson in his time. And as you said, he was trying to revive his career with this concert tour, and obviously now this is not to be. He would have turned 51 late in August.
All right, Brian Rooney out in California. Thanks very much.